still apply to those states. Get an operating agreement, get your business insurance, make sure you have the correct licenses and everything else. Financial services is a little bit more risky because you are dealing with people's money. So I definitely would say get business insurance.
Yes, and the DUNS. She mentioned the DUNS. That is so important. I didn't know about DUNS at first, and I was missing out. Right, that's how you get your grants. That's how you get your grant funding from the government. So if you don't have a DUNS number, then well, no, I'm sorry, not DUNS. DUNS is for your credit. So DUNS is really good to establish your business credit. What I really meant was SAMS. SAMS is, yes. So SAMS is a federal, the federal entity where you go on the SAMS government website and you register your business, and that's how you can get signed up for bids, grants, anything that the federal government can give you, but you have to be registered on that website to do it. So yeah, DUNS is good too, but that just reminded me, SAMS, because I didn't learn about that until late.
That's one that's popping up more often now, those government contracts and those government grants. But yeah, those are a little complicated to get into. So
it's a lot to
a lot of questions.
Get some help if you need to. There are several professionals out there that know how to work that stuff. But I do want to really focus a lot of more attention on two other things about this topic that we were talking about. Contracts was one, right? Business contracts. And then the other one was, you're welcome, Kingdom Finances. I'm so glad you were able to benefit. And then, so contracts, business contracts. And then, so that's the next one. And then the last one is trademarks. So let's talk about the contracts first, because I just want to see what you say about writing contracts. There's plenty of websites out there that you can go to and formulate your own contract opposed to going to an actual attorney. So what do you say to that?
I say for the most part, it is okay. If you want to try to go the cheaper route, I would personally just go to an attorney and have them draft it outright. Yes, it is way more expensive, but at least they'll be asking you those questions and making sure that provisions are in there that need to be in there that you would never think about, or that document preparation system didn't think to put in it, because they don't know you and they're not asking you certain types of questions. And every transaction is unique. You might need a certain provision with one transaction, even though it's in a similar subject matter, but that person wants a different provision in there. They want to be able to have a work for hire, or and I'm saying work for hire, this is in copyright law. So basically if you work with someone, let's say you're a photographer and someone hired you to take photos, and then they say, oh, it's a work made for hire. So basically you don't own those rights. But in California, if you say it's a work made for hire, that means I am now your employee and you have to provide me with workers' compensation insurance. So in California, you're not going to want a work made for hire in there unless you have workers' compensation insurance for all these people that you're hiring. So your attorney will put the right provisions in there to make sure you're not gaining extra liability by trying to reserve a certain right. So even if you do go online and have a contract drafted for you, I would recommend just getting it reviewed by the attorney and seeing if they say you should add some things, seeing what's bad in that contract that may be hurting you, but also still being fair to the person you're making that contract with. So definitely, if you're going to go do it yourself, at least pay a little extra money to have it reviewed by the attorney.
Yes, I totally agree. And especially when it comes to dealing with partnerships and things like that, you want to make sure you have it all in writing. I see a lot of people have a lot of frustrations when it comes to dissolving business partnerships and things like that. That's a really, one thing I know is that when you start a business with someone, you may be very excited about it, a lot going on. And then when you start your business, you start things, hiring employees and getting an actual business, but you may not be thinking about the legal obligations attached to that. And it only takes one small thing to happen that will put your business under just because you didn't put that in a contract clause, a clause in the contract, or have a contract written out for that. So I think it's really important. I've done it both ways. I've done it with a actual corporate lawyer that I had on my team that I trusted, and she understood where I was coming from with my vision. And then I also had it in a way where it was, DIY, and it was clearly a totally different experience. Right. So if you're serious about your business and you know where you want to go with your business, why not secure it, right? Mm-hmm. So I love that.
Yeah, you got to think about it when you're starting a partnership or you're first working with someone, you like them at that point. Your business might end up going bad and you want to get rid of them, but you don't have any means to get rid of them in the contract. And so now we're fighting over money, we're fighting over assets, we're fighting over who did what, right? So,
and you still have to run your business. Like, you still have to operate while you're like fighting to get out of this obligation, right?
Right.
So,
exactly.
But at least you have a contract to state how that's going to clearly happen, rather than not. And then how do I do this, right?
Right.
So, or not have it clearly stated in the contract and not know how to do it.
Right.
So I love that. Is there anything else as far as contracts are concerned that you would advise a person to look out for when they're running a business?
Yeah, I would just always say, if you are getting into something even if you're not running a business, if you're an influencer or someone like that, and someone's putting a contract in your face and they have these big fancy lawyers and you do not, that does not mean you do not go get a lawyer, because there is something called unequal bargaining power, and they're going to put stuff in that contract that you don't understand what it means, or you don't think it's a big deal now, and then later it becomes a big issue. So don't trust that if someone else has a lawyer and their lawyer drafted it, that they are thinking of your best interest. You need to make sure you have someone on your side also reviewing that contract. I don't know if you guys heard about the Haley Page situation where she was a dress designer and entered into this big contract with a big, what was it? Like a clothing company. Okay. And so basically they owned all her rights. They kicked her off of her Instagram page with millions of followers. They said that her name, like her birth name on her birth certificate, belongs to them because they built her up and they made it. So they basically owned her intellectual property. Instagram account had 1 million followers. And she couldn't use it because when she entered into the contract, she was 25 and decided not to have a lawyer review it. Now, years later, they don't care about whether you had a lawyer review it. You should have, but now it's ours. So definitely do not think that those big companies are on your side, and don't think that their lawyers are on your side. Always have your own lawyer reviewing your contracts.
That's good. That's really good advice, and a great example too, because you think that it won't happen to you just because you're in a certain situation or, you're in a certain level in life. But it happens to anyone, exactly. People are greedy. They will take advantage. So yeah, if anyone has questions about contracts or anything like that, definitely ask it really quickly. But and we're going to move on a little bit to trademarks, though. I want to make sure that before we end the live, that we talk about the biggest, most important thing that you've been focusing a lot of energy on educating business owners about. And I haven't even really, to be honest, put any time into really doing a lot of research about trademarks myself. I know about them, but so just drop some gems on us. Give us your knowledge.
Okay, so trademarks are really important if you are a business owner and you want to be the actual owner of your business. So everyone knows that, hey, I want to protect my business, I'm going to get an LLC. Like I said earlier, the LLC is to protect your assets, your physical property, your physical assets. It's not going to protect your IP, which I was talking about with Haley Page. Her IP is those 1 million followers on Instagram. They know Haley Page. I knew Haley Page because I watched Say Yes to the Dress. I don't follow her on Instagram, but as soon as I saw that they said Haley Page lost her contract, I knew exactly who she was. Her name is her brand. So trademarks is important for your brand. It's letting people know who is selling this to me? It's your brand identifier. Who made this? When you go to the Apple store, you are not looking for a Galaxy when you go in there, right? When you go in the Samsung store, you're not looking for an iPhone in there because you know that Apple sells iPhones and you know that Samsung sells Galaxies and all those other Androids that they sell, right? Mm-hmm. So you want people to know that, hey, this is my brand. And when you come to me, you're going to get this quality.
Yes.
LLC is, okay, this is your brand, but this is your brand in this state. And then the next state over can also have that same brand. And then the next state over also has that same brand. And you don't know because when you do your LLC, your state's not going, hey, Kentucky, do you guys have this same brand? No, we're not going to say that, right?
Yes.
So the trademark, we're doing federal trademarks. They do have state trademarks. Those are pointless, in my opinion. Go ahead and get a federal trademark because it will cover you for the whole United States, every state. It doesn't matter if I'm in California and you're in Mississippi and we have the same brand name and I have a trademark and you go and try to register it, the USPTO is going to say, nope, Brianna owns that, you don't have it. So now you're in a situation where you're rebranding. And then so I quickly threw USPTO in there. That is the United States Patent and Trademark Office. That's the government entity that approves your trademark. So when you get into trademark, I know you're protecting your brand. So what does that mean? You're going to want to trademark your brand name, your logo, or any taglines you have. You can also trademark other weird things that most people don't do, like product shape. That's like, I think goldfish has the shape of the little goldfish cracker. Most people aren't doing that, but you can if you have a unique package. There's this company in Hawaii that sells cookies, and they have a trademark for the shape of their cookie container because it's a pineapple or something like that, but they're selling cookies. So things like that you can also trademark. It's not as common. Those common things are going to be your brand name, logo, and tagline.
Wow, that's good. Well, I'm going to be sharing all of this with my clients, and I will definitely, you and I, we see each other in Clubhouse, we see each other on Instagram. Yeah. So I'm sure I'm going to be sending a lot of people your way. But, thank you guys for joining us and for listening to this video. I am Allegra Jackson, CEO. If you guys don't know me, please look at my page. I'm a real coach. I am a mentor for women in business and youth. And of course, I have my special guest for the first live of 2021, which is Brianna Phillips, with Oakalalaw in California. So is it Oakalalaw or is it Oakalalaw?
It's Oakalalaw.
Oakalalaw, girl, yeah. I had it all right. Ocala, there is an Ocala, but it's spelled with a C, so it's really different.
Yeah.
But Oakalalaw. So, guys, make sure you check out her social media page here on Instagram. She has great advice that she gives on her IG Live. I watch her IG Live I'm always scrolling through her page. I'm always taking her tips. So do that as well. Support her. She's a beautiful woman in business. We have a law expert group said hi. Okay, law expert group, how you doing? Hey. So if you missed what we were talking about earlier, you can feel free to press the replay, and we will see you again next Wednesday. Thank you so much, Brianna, for joining me, and have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.